What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Before we jump in, you already know the drill. Make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the wild stories we break down here. And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments as we go along, because I have a feeling this one is going to stir up some serious debate. Alright, let's get into it. You know, during the dating process, a lot of women avoid asking too many tough questions. They want to come across as cool, laid back, unbothered. It's almost like they're saying, whatever you're doing is fine, as long as when you're with me, you treat me right. That attitude feels harmless at first, but it can set the stage for bigger problems later. And honestly, I think that way of thinking is part of what went wrong in MC Lyte's marriage. Because when MC Lyte finally split from her ex-husband John White, people were buzzing. Some even said the marriage lasted longer than they thought it would, because their pictures together looked distant, like neither one was really into it. And then came the rumors. Allegedly, both Lyte and her husband were living double lives. And let's be real, if you ask around, plenty of folks were shocked she married a man at all. So, was it Lyte's sexuality that led to the irreconcilable differences and eventual divorce? Or was adultery the real culprit, with John stepping out behind her back? Well, let's break it down step by step. Here's what we know for sure. MC Lyte and John met online. Yep, through Match.com. They hit it off, and in August 2017, they tied the knot in a beautiful wedding down in Jamaica. It looked like a dream beginning. But fast forward just 3 years to 2020, and Lyte filed for divorce. On paper, they had been married for 3 years. But according to reports, they actually separated within just 5 months. 5 months. That's barely enough time to settle into newlywed life. And Lyte didn't shy away from talking about it. She admitted the split was far from easy. In her own words, the process left her distraught. She described the emotional phases people go through when a relationship is collapsing, whether you're married or not. First, you tell yourself, I have to make this work for us. Then comes the pressure to make it work for everyone else, your family, your friends, even the people who flew across the world to see you say, I do, at that lavish Montego Bay wedding. But eventually you hit the breaking point where you realize, you know what? This just isn't working. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And that's when you start focusing on what really matters, finding happiness again, even if that means letting go. She admitted that when the press caught wind of her filing, everyone assumed she was already divorced. In reality, she was still going through the process at that time. And while it was incredibly painful in the beginning, she came to realize something important. Happiness doesn't always come from staying together. And a failed marriage? That doesn't mean you are a failure. She even said that holding on often has more to do with ego than with love. Real strength, according to Lyte, comes from being able to release what's not working and allow yourself and your partner to move toward peace. But don't think this was quick and clean. The divorce dragged out for 3 years, reportedly because John White was hesitant to sign the papers. And in that time, the rumor mill went crazy. People were whispering that he was living a double life, that he was cheating, and even that he was plotting to scam Lyte out of her hard-earned money. Some compared it to a Tinder swindler kind of situation. Now, Lyte kept most of the divorce details private, but when those rumors started spreading online, that John was trying to steal her coins, she did speak up. In a 2023 Instagram post, she flat out denied it. She said her divorce wasn't a battle and her ex never once tried to come for her assets. She later doubled down on that in an interview with The Breakfast Club. In that conversation, she shared that most of her money came from touring, not from record sales. She told the story about when she first started making money on the road. She bought a house, furnished it, and then realized she was completely broke. She literally had no money left to buy curtains or blinds, so she had to hang sheets over her windows. She laughed about it later, but at the time, that was reality. And it wasn't until her next tour that she was able to finally finish her home. She also admitted that despite selling over 1 million records, she didn't get the kind of publishing royalties she should have. Her words? Slightly. I got something, but nothing close to what I should have. And she warned younger artists that the music business is a treacherous game. But through all of this, She made one thing clear. Because of a prenuptial agreement, she kept full ownership of her music catalog, her royalties, and her assets. She said John never tried to take anything. They had both agreed on a prenup early on, and that was that. He had his own stuff, she had hers, and neither wanted a piece of the other's. Still, people kept insisting John had been cheating, living a double life, or that the real shock was Lyte marrying a man in the first place. And that's where the conversation about her sexuality comes in. Because for decades, there have been whispers about MC Lyte being bisexual, or even dating women exclusively. And the name that's always thrown into the mix? Queen Latifah. Lyte and Latifah have always been close. Lyte has openly called her a sister, praising her as someone who changed the way every female MC looks at business. She said their friendship has always been built on transparency and trust. In fact, in an interview with Essence, Lyte remembered how, from the very beginning, they were inseparable. She described Latifah's vibrancy, her artistic freedom, and how her mother gave her the wings to fly. But that closeness? It fueled non-stop speculation, especially since Queen Latifah's sexuality has always been under the microscope. Remember her role in Set It Off as a masculine-presenting bank robber? She played it so convincingly that rumors about her real-life orientation only grew louder. For years, Latifah didn't address it, which made people assume even more. And naturally, they started linking her to MC Lyte. Both women have since addressed those rumors. In a 2024 Breakfast Club interview, Lyte said their friendship has never been romantic. She admitted that in the beginning, the whispers about her sexuality did get under her skin. But eventually, she learned to brush it off, saying, "If that's how you want to see me, fine. But that's not all of who I am." She also pointed out how tough it was being young in the industry. People constantly tried to box her in, to slap labels on her identity that didn't really fit. And because of how she looked, many doubted she could truly be into men. But Lyte insisted that deep down, she was more traditional than people realized. She said her decision to marry came from a deep belief in the sanctity of marriage and partnership. And when that union failed, she admitted it was devastating. Of course, Queen Latifah wasn't the only name tied to her. There were also rumors connecting Lyte to none other than Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, that Jada. Again, nothing was ever confirmed, but it just added fuel to the fire. Fast forward again to 2023, when MC Lyte hard-launched her relationship with tech professional Aaron Johnson. She admitted she was in love and described him as a reflection of her personal growth. But here's the twist. Aaron was nothing like the roughneck bad boys she once celebrated in her 1993 hit. Her family was stunned when they met him, calling him a ray of sunshine, the complete opposite of her usual type. Lyte even confessed it took her some time to adjust to being with someone so different. But she said she grew to love the softer side of life that he brought her. Sounds like the happy ending she deserved, right? But here's where things get messy again. Fans noticed that Lyte deleted most of her photos with Aaron from Instagram. And in recent months, people have been questioning whether they're still together. To make it even spicier, critics keep saying Lyte should just be true to herself. So, at this point, it leaves us with one big question. Who is really living a double life? Was it John White? Or was it MC Lyte herself? I'll let y'all decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I really want to hear what you think. And don't forget, like this video, hit subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss the next deep dive we've got coming your way.